What's up, YouTube? So today we're going to do something a little bit different than usual. This tank in like the last week and a half or so has just become absolutely overgrown with hair algae. So the grass is still growing underneath it and everything. I don't understand why there's such an algae problem. There are probably 30 plus blue dream shrimp in there, which is going to make getting the algae out a little more difficult because I can't just suck it out with a siphon. I'm actually going to have to physically remove that. So, the way I'm going to mechanically remove this is there are hundreds of shrimplets in this moss, or in this algae. So, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take my tweezers, grab up a bunch, and shake it out. And try not to pull up too much grass as I'm not being successful. Okay, so you see the basic premise. I'm going to go ahead and time lapse from here on and get this tank cleaned up. Okay, so I've gone ahead and gotten the majority of the algae, gotten most of the algae gone. Sorry about that. Now what I'm going to do is to try to combat the algae from coming back. I have switched over to an actual pressurized CO2 system using a 5 pound bottle. Previously, I was running a citric acid and baking soda CO2 system, and it works really well on like my nano tanks. But for this tank, I just don't think it was doing enough. So I've gone ahead and, like I said, gone pressurized CO2. But now I'm going to go ahead and pull a couple of gallons of water out, and we're going to add some fairly quick growing stem plants to try to suck up some of the excess nutrients to keep the algae under control. So I've got some Rotala Vietnam H-Raw, and then I also have, you're not going to be able to see it very well, but I have some really pretty looking, uh, what is it, Alternanthera renicki, otherwise known as Scarlet Temple, and I'm just going to call it Scarlet Temple. But we're going to go ahead and put a patch of red right over here by the CO2 diffuser and the filter over there, because none of the grass that I put in that area is growing. So first things first, let's go ahead and pull a couple of gallons of water out of here. All right, so there we go. The first thing we are going to do is we're going to go ahead and put the Rotala Vietnam H-Raw in. Because it's going to grow taller and hopefully faster than the Scarlet Temple. And these are just cuttings that I took out of another tank of mine. Alright. Alright, so I've gone ahead and got the Scarlet Temple planted in. Like I said, there's 4 or 5 stems, and if I need more, then I probably will have more, but I do want to save the majority of that packet of tissue culture plants that I had for another tank that I actually bought them for. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and top this back off with water, get the light turned off, and I've already got the CO2 set up on a timer. My lights are on a timer. The CO2 will come on 2 hours before the lights come on, and then will turn off an hour before the lights turn off. So let's go ahead and get the water topped off, and we'll check in on it in a couple of days to see how everything's doing. All right, and like I said, we'll check in a few days and see how everything is going. But I'm really hoping that adding those fast growing stems is really going to go ahead and help with the algae problems with this tank. We'll find out. It's been exactly 1 month since we went ahead and added the red plants and replanted some of the grass. And as you can tell, everything is doing great. The only problem that I've noticed is the cryptocorn pink flamingo did melt off, but that's what crypts do. But it is starting to grow back now. The shrimp population, I'll give you a close-up here in a minute, but the shrimp population in this tank has just absolutely exploded. There are blue dream shrimp everywhere in this tank. And as you can see, the red plants are really starting to grow in nicely and grow up above the rocks finally. But yeah, I think that adding the reds to this tank and CO2, and I am also dosing 2 times a week with Aquarium Co-op Easy Green. Yeah, so I am dosing twice a week with 1 squirt of Easy Green each time. Everybody's doing really well. The algae has not come back, at least not badly. There's a couple of little spots that I can see that I will need to go in and touch up, but it's nothing like it was. Especially, like I said, this is a month and no significant algae coming back. Well, this has just been a real quick transformation video on what was the Iwagumi and is now, like I said, more of a Brazilian style tank because of the splashes of color and quite a few different plant types. There is one other plant that I'm thinking about adding, and if I decide to, I'll do a real quick, like probably a short or something about it. But I'm thinking about maybe adding some Ludwigia Super Red Mini. Let me know in the comments below if you think that I should. Anyway, thanks again for joining me. Sorry it's been so long since I've put a video out, but I promise I will get better about that. I've got a couple of videos in the works right now, in fact. Yeah, you know the thing. If you liked this video, like, share, subscribe, and until we meet again, remember to get them wet. Get your hands in your tank. Enjoy the hobby.